Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Welcome back to another session with the older man. My name is Paul, and for those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome to a channel that sort of gives you a little bit more insight into the mind of an older individual who's trying to impose wisdom on the younger generation. I think that's the best way I can describe this channel. Now, this is a man's channel. I try to help men. There are tons of channels out there designed for women, and they're pushing the whole female, strong, independent narrative. And I'm trying to create a space for men. Please try to understand, this is not a red pill space, okay? However, some of the language that you will hear sounds like red pill, because you got to understand a lot of the red pill narrative is simply quite anti-feminist, and second is based on improving men. That's it. Is that we try to build men into real, powerful, strong men that can be an asset to society. When a man is an asset to society, he has to be strong, he has to be dangerous, but always under control. This is vital. There is nothing worse than a weak man that has no self-control, does nothing for society.
Over 30 years ago, during the height of mass incarceration, I was a third-year college student who got fucked up on bullshit and ended up doing a gang of time. One day when I first started doing my time, an old man walked me around the track. And he taught me a few things, and among the things he taught me was in the form of a question, and this is what he asked me. You know why these motherfuckers up in here like this here, don't you? I said, well, yeah, murder. And he said, no, murder might have been the charge, but that ain't the reason why they up in here. I said, well, what's the reason? And he said, for having bitch-ass ways on the street. What? These big, swole, gang-banged out the game motherfuckers from every gang set in the state of California, what the fuck you mean by that? And then he said, let me explain. 90-something% of these dudes right here were raised by women. And as a result, they have female emotional tendencies. That don't make them gay, but it does make them dangerous. I said, what do you mean? And he said, because when you combine male masculinity with female emotional tendencies, you'll kill a motherfucker over how you feel. But you don't never kill a man over how you feel, because tomorrow you're not going to feel that way, but that motherfucker going to be just as dead, and you're going to be up in this camp looking at me. That's why when you get mad, the first thing you have to do is calm down and be quiet. And whatever you have to do after that, you do that shit calmly and quietly or not at all. But that's why these niggas is up in here. They not in here because they was in danger. They in here because they was in their fucking feelings. I'm telling you some good shit.
So my friends, understand that sometimes you might hear things that sound like a red pill narrative. As an older man who grew up with a father who was rough, tough, a man's man, and a man who grew up with 5 sisters being the only son, I have been through a lot more than most normal men. I grew up in an immigrant family, okay? Tough, strong Jamaican father and a Cuban mother, okay? I grew up pretty tough, not underprivileged, but tough in the sense that I had to earn every single dollar that I got. I had to start working from a very early age. I had to build myself as a man, but I wasn't mommy coddled. I had the father that threw me in the ocean and said, learn to swim. And only after I went under 3 or 4 times, then he jumped in and helped me out. So you got to understand, I came up tough. And in saying all that, listen, please subscribe. Hit the subscription button. Hit the notification button, of course, so that you can get notified whenever I'm ready to drop a few more nuggets of wisdom. Now, a lot of the issues that I deal with on my channel is relationship issues, but I'm also trying to explain to men that they have to get this in order for them to feel whole, complete, so that other women will find them attractive. And with that said, I want to talk about this one little video that I saw earlier that I want you guys to really think about. All right, let me play it for you. Now, it was done by a lady.
Recently asked to introduce myself without the titles and the status, without stating what I do, where I'm from, whether I'm married or single or I have children. And I realized that this is a very challenging question because we're so used to introducing ourselves based on those titles and what we do. Did you ever take a moment to think, how would you introduce yourself without those titles?
Now, as a man who's done a lot of reflection over my lifetime, this question intrigued me. And I want to read a few of the comments where people responded to this, and so you guys can get a good idea. Yeah? Reza Najad said, "But we are the titles. We are our achievements." And Sama Faz, this is the woman who's on the video, she responded, "This is not meant to take away from your achievements or beautiful roles we have in your life, such as mothers, fathers, daughters, etc. It's more a question of who we are as humans and not what we do. It lets us take a moment to think of who we are as humans and what our core values are and what we stand for." Now, this sort of gets a little esoteric, a little out there, but I get what she's trying to say. Gentlemen, part of being a man is understanding who you are. Who you are deep inside, who you really are. But this woman posed a very interesting question. Who are you without your titles? Now, our title basically includes our name. And it's very difficult for me, even for me, a deep thinker, to actually solve this issue because I can simply say, I'm a man, but then again, that's a title. I can say, I'm a man who wants to bring goodness to this world. I'm a man who wants to leave this world better than I found it. I'm a man that wants to contribute to society. I can tell you all of these things. You can still say, from the second I say I'm a man, you can say that's a title. Especially in this day and age where it seems like the lines between what a man is and what a woman is so blurred because we look at these as our identity, right? Now, I want you to reflect on this question. I want you to reflect and find who you are. But let's see what other people have said about it. Penny Patty says, "Interesting. I've never been inclined to use any titles when introducing myself. I wonder if this is a cultural thing elsewhere. Every time I introduce, I always just say my name. You either already know what I do, or if you don't, then you don't need to know." But I'm assuming that this gentleman is in a familiar environment where people already know who he is. Arno says, "So very true. I am a mother, wife, sister, aunt, as well as my profession. This is my identity, who I am if I am unable to use these. How else would I identify myself? Religion? Beliefs? Weight? Social, economic class?" she asks. And of course we have the religious response. "I'm a child of God. I believe in our Lord Jesus Christ who dies for my sins. I am to show forth his glory on earth and bring others to repentance. I am redeemed, beautiful, and comforted." That is a religious perspective, but it's still an identity as far as I'm concerned. 9 Hampers, he said this, "This is powerful. I realized this when I lost a dear one. What did he leave with on his passing? Nothing. I mean, he even left his body to be buried by those who loved him. It was the farewell messages that did show who he was to each and every one who loved him. It was not his role in their lives, but how he made us feel, what memories we shared, what lessons he taught us, or we learned together, and the sacrifices he made. I could go on, but it's more intangible than the physical things." And this is the thing about life. because as I contribute to this channel more and more, I was looking back at some of the legendary Kevin Samuel's work as well.
Gentlemen, if no one's told you, you got to tell yourself, you are special. You are important. You are the man because you matter. And you need to carry yourself as such. But at the end of the day, it's the outcome that matters. If you want to be treated better, treat yourself like you matter first. Your Godfather is out.
And I realized that even though this physical body of this man has gone, his digital footprint are huge among men. And these footprints keep getting repeated over and over again by others who have shared his content and who use his content as learning material. And so it made me start to look at Einstein and Buddha and all the great teachers of our past whose footprints and pen prints, handprints, whatever you want to call it, those are the prints that live on forever. And with that said, this reminds me of a statement that I read a long time ago, and it simply said this: if you want to live forever, teach. Because our bodies are simply the hardware that holds the software that we download into others. And then that is the software that keeps passing on and on and on for generations. And sometimes along the way, that software is updated and then passed on again. So every single word that I'm saying to you right now, they have been said before. Every thought process that I'm having, these are mine, they're coming out of my head. But this software was passed on from my father and his father's father and all the teachers that I encountered over my time. I'm now giving it to you. And that's the beautiful part about identifying who we are. Because we are the sum total of the software that was downloaded into our brain. That's it. That's who we are. All the rest is literally a shell. Subscribe, guys. Always, I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know. And remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.